This is topic C on page 77, aligning text using tabs.
You've used options in the paragraph group of formatting commands to control the right and left sides of a paragraph, defining the structure or boundaries of the paragraph. Now you want to create some structure within paragraphs, creating the effects of columns of text within the paragraph, for example. One of the ways you can create a column effect within a paragraph is through tabs and tab stops. When you press the tab key to enter a tab character, it causes the insertion point to move to the next stop on the ruler. So if I had my cursor, let me go before this, I'm going to bring this down just one line. If I had my cursor here, so this is coming the 0 position on my ruler. If I press my tab key, it's automatically going to go to the first ½ inch mark. That's the default stop for a tab character, ½ inch. If I press it again, brings it to 1. Again, it's going to bring it to 1.5, 2, 2.5, and so on. But if I have the hanging indent marker, let's say, and I have it at a 1/4 inch, excuse me. If I have it at a 1/4 inch, you can see it automatically overrides that and is going to bring it to the 1/4 inch mark instead of the ½ inch mark. So that's important to know. The tab character is going to go to the default ½ inch mark. I'm trying to get this back in position here. It's going to go to the default ½ inch mark, except if a hanging indent comes first, because that will override it. So again, if I have hanging indent set here, and I press my tab key, you can see it goes to the 1/4 inch mark, because that overrides it. Now if I press tab again, it's going to go to the ½ inch mark. Again, 1, 1.5, 2. But whatever comes first, ½ inch mark or hanging indent, very important. All right, I'm going to backspace here. So the default tab stops are at every ½ inch on the ruler. A hanging indent overrides all of the default tab stops to the left of it on the ruler. So the hanging indent effectively acts like the first tab stop on the ruler. That's important as well. It's going to override not only the first tab stop, it's going to override all of them to the left of it. So even if I had my hanging indent positioned all the way, let's say, to the 3 inch mark, now I have my insertion point, again, at 0 position. Now if I didn't have that hanging indent marker set here, when I press my tab key, it should move to the first ½ inch. But since I have my hanging indent at 3, when I press my tab key, it automatically jumps to that position. Okay, so when you have your hanging indent marker or tab stop in effect, that automatically overrides everything to the left of it. Now, I had it at 3. My insertion point is at 3. So if I hit tab now, anything after that hanging indent is going to be a ½ inch. Okay, so very important. All right, I'm going to bring that back to my 0 position. And bring my cursor back as well. Backspace all that. Similarly, you can add custom tab stops, which override the default tab stops to the left of them. Suppose you want the first tab stop to be much farther into the ruler than a ½ inch. For example, you could add a custom tab stop so the ruler at the 3 inch mark. When the user presses tab instead of stopping at the next ½ inch increment, the insertion point moves all the way to the 3 inch mark. So we're going to take a look at some custom tab stops. Using tabs, you can align text to the left, right, or center of the tab stop, or you can set other specialized tab stops, such as a decimal. So here I have a little address book, so to speak. So it's just a list of some random people with their addresses. Now you can see you don't get much of a column effect here. Everything's kind of jumbled together. because when I'm pressing tabs, let me turn on my show hide button. You can see the arrows here signify that there are tabs in between each of these. But because of the default tab stops, nothing is lining up correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this whole block of text, and we're going to take a look at some tab stops. And in the upper left-hand corner where your vertical ruler meets your horizontal ruler, right here, this is what we call our tab selector. Right now, if I hover over it, it tells me this is a left tab stop. If I click it, it's going to change. This is a center tab stop. So the center tab stop centers the text around the tab position. If I click on it again, this is a right tab stop. This sets the right edge of the text at the tab position and enables the text to flow to the left of the tab stop. And we have the decimal tab stop. This aligns the decimal point of numbers to the tab position when numbers are used. Okay, and then back to, I'm going to click it a few more times, back to the left tab. This sets the left edge of the text at the tab position and enables the text to flow to the right of the tab stop. So I have everything in my first column lined up, obviously, because it's lined up at the left-hand margin. But suppose I wanted the last names to line up as well, because right now you can see it jumps down, goes over, down, back, down, 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 over again, all of those atoms. So I'm going to take my left tab stop, make sure that's what I have selected, and let me bring this up closer to the ruler so I can get an idea. And I'm going to put this at 3/4 of an inch right here on this line. And I'm going to click on the ruler here, and it places the left tab stop, you can see, places the little symbol there on my ruler. And now everything in that second column, after the first tab marker that I inserted, it's lined up at that 3/4 inch marking. It starts at the left-hand side of the word, because this is a left tab stop, and then the text flows to the right. Again, if I do it for address, let's say I put it at the 1 3/4 mark right here. Just click on the ruler, puts the tab marker on my ruler, lines up everything after that second tab stop. Now, what about the center one? Let me click to change my tab selector. Here's the center tab. Now, for the city, maybe I wanted it centered at, let's say, the 3 1/4 mark right here. Click there. Let me move that over. Actually, the street address on some of them is kind of long. If you ever want to remove a tab stop, click on it, hold down your left mouse button, and drag it down, and it will remove it there. So let's actually move it to 4-inch mark. So this centers the text and everything flows to the left and the right evenly. So this is centered down the column. Okay? And then take a look at the last one, our right indent marker. For state, we'll put this at the 5.5-inch marker. It goes down the right side of the text, and the rest of the text flows to the left. So it lines up on the right side of whatever the word is. And we'll put our zip code right aligned as well. So the right edge of everything is lined up on the right. So now when I click out of this, turn off my show hide, much cleaner look, right? Everything's not jumbled together, and I get more of that column effect for all of my text. All right? I don't have the text selected anymore, so you can see those tab stops are not shown. But when I go back and select my block of text, they are visible here. And you can click and move them. If I wanted the state column moved a little bit to the left, you can click and, whoops, I actually added an extra one there. You can click on this one and just drag it over and just drop it into place wherever you want it. Okay? So that's the left, center, and right tab markers. What about the decimal? Here I have a bunch of decimal points. I'm going to add another one. We're going to do, so this has a decimal point. All of them have decimal points. This one has a decimal point deep into the number. Suppose I wanted to line all of these numbers up at the decimal point though. I'm going to, because right now this is showing 3/4, this is showing 1.5, 2, 3.5, 4.5, 5, 5.5, and this big number with a large decimal point. I want to line them up all by the decimal point in the same spot. I'm going to select all the numbers. Oops, I don't want that extra line there. All the numbers. I'm going to hit my tab selector until I get my decimal tab stop. And suppose I wanted to line those decimal points up, let's say, towards the middle of our page at the 3-inch mark. Let me bring that up a little bit more. I'm going to click that decimal tab stop into my 3-inch marker. Nothing moved. Why is that? I need to hit my tab key. I need to have a tab character before this. So when I hit tab now, look at that. The decimal point lines up at that 3-inch marker. Do it for the rest of them. 1.5. Bring over 2. Now these all have the decimal place in the second position, right? So it's not that big of a deal. But once I get to this large number at the end, look at that. It still brought the decimal place lined up with the other decimals in the other numbers as well. If I had these selected, oops, and I decided I want to move that tab marker, you can see I could just click and drag it, and they're still lined up. All right, so that is your decimal tab stop.
Our next video will be activity 2.6 on page 79.